kind of like, it sounds like you're hopeful. It sounds like 2023 could be a good year in the ecosystem, but what are you feeling?
I think 2023 is really going to be a big opportunity for a lot of us to take some profits on some cryptos that we bought the lows in and use that. There's going to be like 2 to 3 really big. So there's 2 to 3 big opportunities to buy lows and then the new local lows on crypto. So there's going to be some really good DCA opportunities, as well as there's going to be 1 to 2 big cash taking opportunities, not just in the PulseChain Hex ecosystem. That's one of them. But in the overall macro ecosystem, there's going to be one where we're going to get a nice summer high or maybe like a late fall high for crypto. Awesome. Yay. And then a low after that. Buy. Yay. And the capital left over, you're going to be able to take that money to hold you over for the rest of 23 into 24, when we're finally onto a new cycle and some new highs, or at least when the market's like coming out. Because for 23, we're outside of the Hex ecosystem, there really isn't a lot of new tokens coming out. There is not going to be a lot of new tokens coming out until 24 or late 23, right? So we kind of have to play what we have right now. And one thing that's holding that's going to hold us back is like once a whole year has passed by, around the first to second quarter of 2024, the real estate market's finally going to sort of calm down. It's going to stop being a drag on the economy. That's going to start loosening up, and then we'll be able to have a much more of a bull market. That's what's going on. So there's a lot of opportunities in 2023. Even if you just DCA, this is like the best year to DCA ever, you guys. Just buy the simple stuff. Buy Ethereum, buy some Hex, get some USDC, and get a favorite L1 token that you like. And I think you'll do very well for yourself. I really do believe.
And you think testnet V3 on Valentine's Day? Where does that put us for what's your win pulse chain for this year? Or for maybe you're thinking a year from Valentine's Day. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think I was right with a couple past calls. It's just I think macro kind of and it just delays happen and stuff, but they didn't happen, so I was wrong, right? So take what I say with a grain of salt. But I would believe I would believe probably a summer launch for PulseChain, maybe August at the latest in terms of that. But I do believe that if you told me 6 months ago that Richard wanted to do a sacrifice phase for the MetaMask token before PulseChain launching, I would have been really mad. Like right now, everyone's tired of everyone wants PulseChain to launch, right? But if let's just say Richard was hinting I want to do the MetaMask sacrifice phase, I would have been out in the street saying, "Yo, Richard, you out of line, bro. Launch fucking PulseChain first, and let's I would have been very adamant. I'm kind of fucking pissed off about this shit. But look at the scare we had with Uniswap trying to share data. And they backtracked and stuff. No, we're not going to share the data for you guys. Of course they fucking are. Of course they are. They're going to share the data with the IRS and everything like that, right? So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And two-fifths of all the Ethereum infrastructure is basically owned by VCs and banks right now. And Ethereum is becoming more and more centralized. So I think there's more of a use case. Like if Richard says hey, let's go make the MetaMask wallet, I'm like, okay, let's do it now. It's just because I think everyone got a little taste of what could be coming in the future. And it's a little scary, So so I think we're probably if I had to put my money on it, there's probably a 60% chance we have the sacrifice phase for the Richard Heart wallet before PulseChain launching, and then PulseChain kind of right a month or so after, give or take. Wow. That's what I'm seeing. If it's the other way around, I'm perfectly okay with that. But it makes it much more simpler for Hex to pump, because if we do the sacrifice phase for the MetaMask token before PulseChain launches, the only token you can really sacrifice it's going to be Hex for the most part. But if you do it when the PulseChain ecosystem launches, then you're going to have a myriad of PulseChain, PulseX. You're going to have a more muddled kind of launch, or a muddled kind of price pump on Hex and on PulseChain and stuff like that. So because so it's better to the last hurrah to have so we want to get the sacrifices for Hex. I mean the sac phases for PulseX and PulseChain are actually very good for the Hex ecosystem, because it gets rid of a glut of supply that we have. Every single year from now until 2029, we are going to have 20% more Hex coming out from the OG Hex stakers every year. because the stakes are getting long. Like every stake is 20% more T-shares, right? And in terms of
Mhm.
length, every year you go out. So we have this huge glut of hex coming out, right? So it's a really kind of cool thing. These sacrifices actually are very good for the hex ecosystem. It's basically like leeches that kind of actually suck out extra blood and actually put us in a state where we can actually pump very well, and it ends up helping out the entire ecosystem overall. And it's not really from the average guy; it's mostly getting rid of hex from these fucking gigantic whales and that sort of thing. So I think it's very healthy. So I believe if it happens somewhere in the summer, I think it'd be very good for hex.
Yeah, imagine the hex price without the 2 sack phases.
Yeah.
It would be interesting.